A massive second welcome. Bit of a star on the radio now for us, Josh Rutherford, to the non-league radio show. Welcome, Josh.
Hello, Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm fine, pal. I'm fine. So we're good friends. If people didn't know that from the first interview, but people may not have heard the first interview, so I'm going to just go over a couple of points from the first interview until where you are now at City. So I think one of the first things I mentioned last time was some of your first memories of football.
Yeah, so obviously I'm a big Sunderland fan. My old man took me to the Stadium Light when I was 6 years old to watch Sunderland against Portsmouth back in 1998. From then, I was hooked, pretty much obsessed with football. I still am to this day. And obviously wanted to be the next Kevin Phillips. And then my dad got me into playing for my local junior team and progressed through the junior ranks. And then when I was 16, decided to take my coaching badges. And yeah, that's how I got into football and still in love with the game to this day.
So what sort of things do you have to go through to become a coach, just for people that may be thinking about becoming a coach?
Well, it's easy to be a coach now. The systems have changed. So when I was 16, I did an intense course, a week long at Huddersfield Fair. For my level 1, then I've progressed on to my level 2, which was 6 months. And then I've done various other courses such as Futsal, my youth module, which then gets me onto my FA Youth Award. I've done my goalkeeping, I've done my disability, I've done, pretty much everything in football up to the UEFA B. I'm just waiting to try and get on my Advanced Youth Award. And once I get onto that, get on my UEFA A, then it opens more avenues to where I want to be. But I think now, I got a message the other day. I've done my introduction to coaching football, and I've done it online. But I feel that what's made me the coach I am today is I've made my mistakes on the pitch, when I'm coaching sessions, getting pitch sizes wrong, etc. Tactics wrong, stuff like that. So I think it's quite easier today to be a coach than it was when I first started. But I think it's 2023, things change, and I think statistics are big, and that's why the FA are trying to do it the way they are doing it now. But yeah, that's how I got into the coaching and what I'm doing now, etc. Yeah,
I'm guessing in recent times COVID didn't help either, so a lot of online stuff was probably getting pushed.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's happened as well. COVID's probably got in the way, like it has in a lot of ways. But I still think now that we're back up and running in the country, that we can get coaches on the grass and learning the game, learning from each other, making mistakes, because the best managers in the world, Pep, etc., and they still make mistakes on the pitch and on the training field. I think that's the way it needs to get back to. But there you go.
Yeah, you touched on the UEFA B and coaching things. Is there a waiting list to get on those, or do you have?
Well, obviously, I've got friends at Huddersfield, and one of them's getting on the UEFA C, and the other one can't get on the UEFA C. There's a waiting list. I think the FA need just to release the more courses to help with the demand. Obviously, after COVID, where things stopped and were at standstill, there's a waiting list. I've got my UEFA B, which I'm fortunate, and but I want to get on my Advanced Youth Award, but I'm still waiting to get on, and I'm trying to get on my UEFA E as well, but it's just a massive demand because of obviously what happened 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, everybody's in the waiting list, and but that's the way it is, unfortunately.
So the higher you get up these coaching, is it more practical based, or is it a lot of it still classroom?
The UEFA B was a bit of both. A lot of coursework, more coursework than I did at school. I remember being on the Friday night and I got my old man to laminate all my stuff, and it was like a encyclopedia more than anything. But a lot of coursework and then practical as well. You've got to get out and do your sessions. So yeah, there was a bit of both really. But the obviously introduction to coaching and the UEFA C, there's a little bit more classroom based, but we've got to wait and see. Yeah.
So we'll talk a bit about your roles you've had to get to where you don't have to go on for hours and hours about each role, but if you just talk a little bit about each, maybe the club, I know you're at Morpeth, and to get to the point we're at now.
Yeah, so basically, obviously started coaching with my own little venture, what I had back in Northumberland with my friend Dicker. Tiny Woods Academy set out back about 2013, and it was just instead of getting a placement at college, we just did our own bit. We progressed and did really well there. But a program called Premier League Primary Stars, which obviously I do at City and did at Huddersfield as well. That kind of became big and popular. So like Newcastle United, Sunderland would have been taken over in Tyne and Weir and Northumberland areas. So then I obviously went and coached Morpeth Town Reserves. Did well there for a little short period where we tried to get the players from junior football to adult football, that transition really. So then I went to Gateshead College and had a great year there, and with the academy as well. Had a great year where we won the league unexpectedly. Came in, we bottom of the league last year and pointless as well. We went to win the league. That, like I said on the last one, was like a mad summer really. I wanted to get in full-time football. I've always wanted to do that, but geographically it's been tough. Then went for some interviews. I went for interviews at Huddersfield, Sheffield United, Rotherford. Then Huddersfield called us and took the job there. And while I was at Huddersfield, I was sitting in my uncle's house waiting to get my flat, which I'm still at now. Put some CVs in, and I got a phone call from Rochdale the next day, asking to come in for an interview. And yeah, was successful, and yeah, really enjoying it there. But even though I got the jobs at Huddersfield and Rochdale, it was quite funny enough. Like some of my family and friends will joke about this. I got the jobs at Huddersfield and Rochdale, and it became a long, dark winter because Huddersfield were losing on a regular basis. They were in a massive relegation battle until Neil Warner came in and did the Great Escape. And unfortunately, Rochdale dropped down to the National League. So people obviously joke and say that I'm the bad omen. But yeah, so
just on that bit, Josh. Sorry, like for people maybe won't understand. I mean, I've never moved away from home to do work. I've worked away but never moved. How difficult is it to actually uproot and then settle in? You hear about footballers struggling to settle in and stuff. So, what is it similar for yourself trying to settle in a new area?
Yeah, to be honest, it has been tough. I'm not going to lie. You're miles away from home. You can't just call your mates and go, yeah, fancy a pint, or things like that. And I speak to my family on a regular basis, and then settling in. Like any job, you get a honeymoon period where you think, wow, this is brilliant. And then things materialised, which I wasn't on the same alignment as at Huddersfield with, SLT. I thought the job was a little bit different to what I thought it would have been. And it just became a long, dark winter, really, like I said, about the results as well as the first team, because obviously you're watching Huddersfield and you're watching Rochdale one week and then Huddersfield the other week and both losing, and it just kind of spirals into a little bit of a negative effect. But I was always busy. That was the big thing. I was always busy, so I had the academy on a Tuesday night and the Thursday night, and then game on a Sunday. So I was always busy. But yeah, it's not easy for anybody. I've always been a home bird, so yeah, it wasn't. But I'm absolutely in a good frame of mind now, because obviously things changed about April time. So yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go on from April onwards. So how did the chance at City come about?
Well, it could have went earlier. Obviously, things weren't at Huddersfield the way I thought they were going to be. I probably got the alarming bell started ringing early on when there was a high turnover of staff, and honestly, some fantastic people at Huddersfield who I'm still friends with, and people were leaving. High turnover of staff, and you just start thinking, why? So I had a potential interview in January with City. But before all that, the summer before, I applied for a job in Dubai with City, and was at City Football Academy. This is one thing why what always sticks in my mind is, obviously, my dad took me down because he wanted me to sleep in the morning. Like, we got up at 4:00 and set off, and we didn't need to be there for 8:30. But my dad says, "You get some sleep, and I'll drive you down." And obviously, it was a full day recruitment event, and then I was there from 9 till 3. And then my dad was having a little wander, like peeking through the bushes to see Pep's session. And a gentleman approached him and says, "Everything all right? You want a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or anything?" And my dad went, "Yes, please." And he was just, "Oh, what are you here for?" And my son's here for an recruitment event. And about 3 weeks ago, I was doing a session, and the man approached me and went, "Hi, Josh, how are you doing? How's your dad, Kevin?" And I was like, "What? Wow." So that always sticks in my mind. But I had a chance in January, going back to the story, and bad weather stopped the session happening. So I thought, missed opportunity. Oh dear. However, and then I reapplied because the vacancy was still open. I just reapplied, and they went, "Yeah, we'd like to have you in." I was on some annual leave, and I was like really like down in the dumps a little bit, like for a chance at City, and I'm not in the right frame of mind, So my mum's dad was like, "Come on, you'll be fine, you'll be fine." And I went down there, and honestly, it was a session which got changed at the last minute, so I had to plan for 15 outside. But obviously, typical Manchester weather, which I experience most days, it was absolutely lashing down. So then they go, "You're indoors and you got 30 kids." Oh wow, thanks for that. And I still, hand on heart, and I discussed it with my boss, my now boss, when I had my PDR, and I says, "My session was absolutely terrible." And she didn't say yes, it was. She just says, "I could see through you that you were a good coach." And so I got the job. So yeah, got the job in April. And obviously, joking aside about the Huddersfield and Rochdale in a relegation battle, I came into City, and we ended up doing the treble. So I like to take credit for that. I'm joking, but no. Straight away, the massive difference at City. You walk in, honestly, I was like a kid in the candy shop. The place is absolutely massive. You're on the same site as the first team. And straight away, what struck me was the leadership. There's a structure in place. There's no dictators. Just things like that.
I was going to get onto the structure as well in a minute, but I was like, want to find out. Obviously, you're getting into City. What is your sort of role, and what's your day to day or
Yes, yeah.
do
So
you work
basically, it's the same. Yeah, same kind of job title. It's a community coach. I'm working in primary schools. I'm delivering sessions actually now. At Huddersfield, I was sitting in the classroom. Huddersfield did it more of an educational side rather than the physical activity, which obviously doesn't suit me. So straight away, we've got the job. The job title suits me. I'm delivering PE, Premier League primary stars, and so I'm trying to upskill teachers who obviously primary school teachers who necessarily don't have the time to plan for PE lessons. So I come up with some session plans and ideas, what it's in a national PE curriculum, and just trying to upskill the primary school teachers to help them. So when I'm away, not in on my day in that school, they can possibly deliver a PE session. And it's gone really well. So yeah, obviously I had my PDR with my boss a few weeks ago, and she says you're flying, you've hit all your KPIs, and yeah. So the structure obviously is different. Obviously it's an elite organisation, and world's best football club as well. Performance wise, just got a structure in place, and just got leadership everywhere. You walk in, everybody's in the same, the tracksuit, the same tracksuit. You're eating breakfast and lunch together. You get showered with gear, the throw your gear at you. Yeah, so it's just an absolute, honestly. So, like I said, when you look back and reflect, which I've done a lot when I've been down here from a lad that was went on worked on the farm, did deliver milk bottles on a evening night shift, and you worked at Morrison's, and now you're working at Man City within 2 to 3 years. The journey I've been on, I wouldn't change it for any journey. There's been obviously rejections and setbacks, but I'm in a better place now to deal with them setbacks and rejections. As you try and progress, and yeah, so things are absolutely flying at the minute for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can vouch for that because I seen you probably are lost in the supermarket, and then a few weeks later, I was like, "Oh, I'm off at your happiest." So I've seen the both sides of that in the space of a few weeks.
But like you talk about hindsight. So like when I went down for my interviews at Huddersfield and Sheffield United or Rotherham, if I took the job at Sheffield United or Rotherham, would I have gotten in at Rochdale Academy? No, probably not location wise. And would I getting a jump to Man City? Probably not. So even though Huddersfield didn't work out for me, professionally, personally, it was a massive learning curve for me. So I had to move away from home, had to live, cook, eat, wash, then get myself up and ready for work, stuff like that, that things like that. And then obviously, like I said, the people at Huddersfield, I've made some absolutely tremendous relationships and friendships and connections. But that's just the way things work out, don't they?
Yeah.
But yeah.
You touched on your UEFA coaching. I'm just wondering where you are now. What is sort of like going forward? What things do you want to achieve? I'm not saying dreams and aspirations, but what things would you like to achieve going forward?
Yeah. So my aspirations are to be the best I can be. I have PDR meetings with both Man City and Rochdale. I've set targets for myself, which I'll keep to myself because I don't want to broadcast it and then not hit them. But in terms of my aspirations, I'm very busy. So Monday night, it's my only night off. Then Tuesday night, I'm at the academy. Wednesday night, I'm going to be with the City Girls, the emerging talent squads. Thursday night at the academy again. Friday night, I'm going to be at the academy again and the development centre. Saturday, I'm going to have like a day off, really. But again, day off, not really for me because I like to go out and get my football fix and watch teams and learn tactical insights from teams, how they set up, etc. And then Sunday is a match day. But in terms of aspirations, just keep being the best I can be. Just enjoy the journey, because sometimes, like I said in the past, I am ambitious, probably too ambitious, but I don't want to jump too high to then fall and then undo all the good work I've done so far. So, I had a discussion with my mate and family as well. Just enjoy the journey. You're going up a mountain, you're going about like you're in a spiral, upward spiral. You don't want to like climb too high and then fall. So yeah, and like I say, just keep being the best I can be. Getting onto my UEFA A and my advanced youth award will open so many avenues. And that's the ambition, to get onto them 2 courses. If I get that, I think I'm well on the way to be where I want to be. But then again, you're talking about where you want to be in 3 years' time or 5 years' time. You get asked them questions. And who I wouldn't have said, but I'll be at Man City a year ago today. You know what I mean? So you don't know where the journey takes you. But where I am today is a massive step for me, and just keep progressing. Really, I wouldn't change my journey for any other journey. I've listened to podcasts as well. The high performance podcasts, and under the caution, etc. And listening to football coaches, managers, players talking about how their journeys have been affected, or how their journeys have been on a successful rise. So, and I've been listening to that, and I've been learning. Sitting in my flat room every night, just learning, taking notes, and so that's my aspirations and stuff like that. So yeah.
No, I love having you on the show. It's great, and having a mate that's got a journey like this is excellent, especially when I get the contacts off you that I do for interviews along the way, which is really good.
I listen to your thing, and what you're doing is great as well, because all these podcasts now, they're talking about the professional game, and you're talking about non-league, and that's where everybody's journey starts, and the grassroots and then non-league. And yeah, so keep doing what you're doing. And yes, I'm always passing contacts on, because then I'm building connections up all the time. It's that's what you do. And like I say, I've got friends for life now at Huddersfield and Rochdale, and I'm building up them connections now at Man City. Whether I'm working on the emerging talent centre with the girls, or I'm doing my primary schools, and then obviously in the summer holidays I'm working in the soccer schools. We've had a great day today. My face might feature a match of the day on Saturday. We're at the match of the day cameras there today, and regarding Alex Williams, who's retiring. So that was good. And then in the afternoon, you got some of the first team players pop in and say hello to the kids, which is fantastic. So yeah, keep building, doing what you're doing, and it's good as well.
Well, if people want to give Josh a follow on social media, at jruddy_1 on Twitter. As always, Josh, many thanks for coming on. Give us a shout again when you want to come back on.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in a year. Yeah, it's mad how things turn out.
Excellent.
But yeah, thanks for having me again. Much appreciated. Yeah, just give us a shout.
I will do.
I'm more than happy to give you contacts and stuff. But yeah, it's been a pleasure once again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Cheers, Josh.